Hey, what up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you. Tonight was a good old wrestling night, sitting around watching wrestling. I turned on the WWE Network, and I found out the WWE Network added up a whole bunch of collections, which are like playlists. On my WWE Network, on my Apple TV, they are listed under the shows. You scroll down between, it starts with pay-per-views, in-ring, originals, and underneath there, it's collections. There's a few different lists of playlists about Black History Month. The best of the WWE Network, the greatest matches, Brock Lesnar's road to the undisputed title, the TLC tag teams, building up their WrestleMania match. But I went under the greatest wrestling matches ever. And underneath there, I believe there's a listing of 13 matches that are the best on the WWE Network. And it really grabbed my attention. And I went down the list, and debatably out of the list, I think that every single list, well, I guess there's 10, because the first one is like a commercial for the collection. I thought that 9 of those matches really deserved to be on there. But I ended up watching the Chi-Town Rumble from 1989, which is Ricky Steamboat going up against Ric Flair. Chi-Town Rumble happening there in Chicago. It joins into the match, just like if you went to the DVD and you popped it in and you went to the chapter. You don't get to see Ricky Steamboat's entrance, but you see Ric Flair's as he's coming down to the ring, and then they show all of the members of the Chicago Bears that are sitting ringside. They don't show Dave Meltzer, who's sitting basically when you're watching the match, hard camera right in the center, wearing a green shirt. He's got the 80s sort of perm going on, and it's really fun to watch this match and watch Meltzer react to the match that's going on. He's talked about this match a lot on his podcast, and this is the first time that I've really seen this match in a really long time, and I watched it tonight, and I honestly thought it was, one of the best matches that I've ever seen. Definitely wrestling in the 80s is a lot different from watching wrestling now. There's not a lot of high spots. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat jumps off the top rope twice. There's not a lot of outside interference. There's not a lot of, just stuff that goes around. It's just basically two guys getting into the ring who wrestle, and, with the wrestling, builds up a good match where one guy beats down the other guy, and to the point where another guy gets to pin the other guy. It's not... It's the build up of who is the better wrestler, and I really thought this match was great. Early in the match, Ricky Steamboat jumps up and gets some early momentum on Ric Flair, was attacking Steamboat, and then Flair basically caught up with a knee to Steamboat, where basically he was able to take over the match, where he was basically able to chop Flair was able to chop Steamboat, and he was able to beat him down. The big spot of the match basically came when Steamboat came up to the top rope, and he came down on Flair with like a chop, like to the head of Flair, and then he went to the other turnbuckle and he came off, and he was going to do a flying a crossbody where he was going to land on Flair. But basically, when he landed on Flair, Flair rolled in and he took out the referee as well. And from there, basically, Steamboat was able to get a cover, thinking that he was going to get the 1, 2, 3. He wasn't able to get the pin, and then basically with him trying to pick up the referee, Ric Flair came over, and he turned it into an inverted atomic drop, which then put Ric Flair putting on the figure 4 leg lock, but basically there's no referee for him to get a tap out. So then Flair started attacking on Steamboat's leg. The referee is never able to regain consciousness. Steamboat is basically able to get up and hits a desperation clothesline, where Steamboat basically tried to get the referee to get him back into the match. And that's like some of the big thing that's going on. Flair is coming over trying to get the cheap deal. When Steamboat ends up with a roll up pin, and at the last minute you see Teddy Long, who looks like he looks 40 years older than he does if he went to a wrestling convention you saw him now. It doesn't make any history of time how Teddy Long has basically got the Benjamin Button disease, where it's almost like he's getting younger as he gets older in the the wrestling business. But Teddy Long comes flying in, hits a 1-2-3 for the roll up as Steamboat is pinning Flair. Basically, Henry Matsuda comes in. He's in Ric Flair's corner and he's trying to fight off the pin, basically saying that it shouldn't have counted, that he was the right referee. Because of this, basically, WCW, it's not even WCW, it'd be the NWA at this time. NWA would grant Ric Flair a rematch where they would go to the Clash of the Champions, where they'd have a 2 out of 3 falls match, where Steamboat would beat Flair once again, but on the deciding fall, it would be where I believe Ric Flair's foot was either on the rope or Ric Flair's foot was underneath the rope. So that sort of put the match, contested yet once again. And then basically at Wrestle War, they would have one of their last battles where Flair would beat Steamboat to regain the championship. But I think a lot of people watch the WWE rivalries on the WWE Network. It's a really good episode highlighting, this match as well as their feud over their entire career. And it's one of the best ones out there. Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair, Chi-Town Rumble, definitely deserves to be in the top 10 matches of all time, I believe, in WWE Network's history. Definitely go out of your way and really watch this match. You'll get down with it. If you want backstory, go watch that WWE rivalries on there, and I think you'll really, really like this.